Hey, this is Milz from America. We are back with another interview. We're going to talk about where our next guest is from because the wild card, there was a Loop Station wild card thing that I put out last night. It's now Saturday morning, and already got some good feedback. So I'm feeling very Brazilian right now. So we're going to talk about all that later. But for right now, we're going to introduce, because we are interviewing.
Dudz.
Where are you from, man?
I'm from Brazil. Actually, I was born in the northeast of Brazil, but now I live in São Paulo.
São Paulo. Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Okay, so first question. The meaning behind your stage name.
Well, my real name is Eduardo, so it's a common way to call Eduardos here, like a nickname. Du, so or Dudu or Edu, and Dudz is just kind of a variation that sounds kind of a beatbox thing. So that was a suggestion from a friend of mine. And then, like 1 year later, I figured out that there was another Dudz in Portugal, but he was not beatboxing for like 2 or 3 years. Then I thought, well, he's not using that anymore, so I can use it. And then, like last year, he came back and he was like, "You stole my name," and oh god, I can't do anything right now. So people already know me for this. I could do something like Oracle did, but I think I'm not very famous like him, so I couldn't change my name right now.
Bro, really? You're not famous.
Yeah.
Okay, so GBB20 online. Am I a joke to you? D for Dudz in chat. D-U-D-Z in chat. D-U-D-Z in chat. Get it, get it. I need to see D in chat. All right. Anyway. Yeah, so, I mean, we'll eventually get into GBB and all that, but for real quick, I was going back and rewatching a few of them, including Napalm getting sneaky with the squeaky. Which
That was really good. That was really good.
I've never I mean like he comes up with like funny things to say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That one cracks me.
That's so good.
That one cracks me up, man. Sneaky with the squeaky.
He did a lot of funny stuff. Like he starts singing like he starts singing like that in the beginning of his round against me. And I was like, what the fuck is Napalm doing,
you
bro?
know what? I think he was trying to maybe counter your musicality.
Yeah.
'Cause-
He did a lot of my stuff. Like he was trying to I don't do that shit.
Yeah,
That was
he's
really, really funny.
yeah, like his stage presence and his countering is another thing. But anyway,
He has the perfect character to battling, you know.
yeah, his character we'll just call it. So, where I was getting was, I forget if you were top 16 or 8.
Top 8 on GPP.
Jeez. Jeez.
Because unbelievably, I won against River.
Wait, you beat? Oh, you beat him? Oh, so he was only.
I beat. Yeah, I beat River on top 16.
Damn.
It was like his last defeat was against me. Because after that, he won like 3 or 4 championships.
Yeah, because it was funny when people were what's it called? Basically on Beatbox International, or no, it was basically Swiss somewhere on Instagram. People would fill in their brackets, and they would submit it, and so they guessed. They actually guessed River. A lot of them guessed River as like 1 or 2. So
If I could bet, I would bet on River, not on me.
Guess who beat him?
Yeah.
Dang.
If I was putting money on that, I wouldn't put money on me.
Wow.
Seriously. Like the guy is unstoppable.
Yeah.
So I was not very confident, but I gave kind of all in. So I gave my best routines, and
Yep.
let's see
That's
what
it.
happens.
And we're going to talk about the style and how, and like I have a lot of cool questions that are just for you. I don't think I've asked
Okay.
anybody else it, so I can't wait to get there. Okay.
Nice.
So so you already started with this, a non-beatbox background about yourself. So for example, like musical influences, somebody you watched, maybe like a producer, not even a beatboxer, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to ask you about beatboxers in the next question. But for right now, just a non-beatbox background about yourself.
So I was always a really musical person. So since I was very young as a kid, I always liked to sing, to make weird noises. I always did that and didn't know it was beatboxing. So uh, then I started learning a bit more of music when I started to play the flute. Then things really changed when I get got in the university and started participating in an a cappella group. So there I met another beatboxers, and then I discovered all the universe of beatboxing, all the communities, and then I started to uh, develop myself in beatboxing. So that was kind of my background and where I learned all about the music I know nowadays.
All right. Yeah, the acapella scene has been really skyrocketing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think you also have a Facebook profile. I think maybe or no.
I have a personal profile, but I usually post my stuff on Instagram and YouTube only.
Yeah, I figure because it things are just like I feel like that the presence is way more on Insta than it is on Facebook. But I was gonna
Yeah,
say
I re-
I was gonna say like there's this acapella group, and they post a lot of cool stuff, and that's what I love about Facebook because it has all these groups,
yeah.
and so like there I get all these ideas, and like someone posted this like RC 300, which is like the really old school 2013 GBB where you had to pound it, whereas now we can just
Yeah.
and so I said, "Are you sure?" I'm like, have you heard of the RC 505? Instead of you can just do this, and you can like every all of them have has a fader. So like in post production, you don't have to do as much. So, and
Mm-hmm.
so my point is, I just thought about that when you're talking about um like Instagram and stuff. Okay, so I cut you off. You were going to say something too.
Mm, and I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, so then we'll just move along to the next question. You tackled like half
Okay.
of this already. Is your solo beatbox background? So basically, you were doing singing, and then you started getting into like the whole universe of beatbox. So if you want to kind of
Yeah,
continue the conversation right there.
mm-hmm. It was kind of separate in the beginning. So I was always that musical guy, but it was not very serious. And then I've just watched, as 90% of the beatboxers, I watched the Joseph Poo videos on France Idols. Yeah. And then I was obsessed with beatboxing and started doing. I was like 10 years old, 11 years old, I don't know. And I started to try to copy him, and I figured out that I could do things that my friends couldn't. And then I started and keep on practicing. But I didn't know there was a whole community of beatboxing, so I was kind of stuck it with my own sounds for I don't know 8 years, I think 7 years, and then I entered the a cappella group and met another beatboxers, and then I started to develop myself. But that was kind of this my background on solo
Excellent.
beatboxing.
So when you said that, so for like those 7 8 years, were they basically kind of like watching basic tutorials? Because I know like tutorials the whole idea of beatbox tutorials haven't really skyrocketed until maybe the past, I don't know, 5-ish
Yeah,
years.
but actually I didn't watch any tutorials. I just developed my sounds, but I had like 5 sounds. I don't know, just 5 sounds, 3 sounds, and I was messing around with them. But I was not thinking that you could battle, you could improve, you could get further with this. So for me, it was okay. But then when I discovered the community, my mind was blown.
All right, and that takes us perfectly into our next question: is what is your solo beatbox style, if you have one? And then I have a follow-up question after that.
Okay, so uh, when I discovered the community, I noticed that I was really bad, and then I needed to practice a lot more. Yeah, but then then I did an exchange to England, and I studied there for 1 year. Yeah, I studied in Manchester, And there I submitted my entry to the UK Beatbox Champs. And I was accepted for the 32. Yeah, for the first 32. So I did my elimination, but I was really, really bad. It was the first time actually that I've held a good microphone on my hand. So I had a good system, sound system. So but this was a very, very great experience because I was close to very, very good beatboxers. And that kind of changed my mind that, and I figured out what I needed to do to improve my beatboxing. So I needed to be original, to develop a style. So I started to messing around with my beats, and then one special beat, it was kind of this musical style, and I thought that's what I need. And then I started to, of course, watch some references. So I watched some another musical beatboxers, and then I started to develop my own style. But it was that's a work that demands like years. So I think to develop my style as it is now, it was like 3 years, just developing it, and not thinking about development of another aspects in the beatbox.
All right. So my perfect follow up is when. So like you talked about like 8 years, and then that's when you started getting super serious, and then you mentioned those 3 years. So my follow up question is like basically when in those 3 years did you decide to become so brave and go against like the modern trends of doing fast stuff and all these fancy sounds? Like when did you decide that like singing while you spit snare, for example, is your thing, no matter how many YouTube commenters are like, that's not fast? Like when did you get like super confident maybe and be like, bro, I don't care what you think?
Yeah, that's a really great question because that's what happens to me all the time. Like,
Me too.
Always people
on my
say,
loops. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like
always people
like when I put on
say,
my,
like,
my
your beatboxing is great, but you need to put some tech. You need to add more powerful stuff every time. Every time. So what I can say is that at the beginning I was just that mess of beatboxing, so just random sounds, and then I started to figure out my style and started to battle using them. But it was I didn't get any good results because at the beginning my style was not developed enough to get good results. So it's only defeats. But then I got like 3 or 4 good routines, and I won like two battles in my community. So just small battles here. And then I thought, well, you could do something with this style. But of course, every time, like when I was the vice champion 2018 here in Brazil, every time people said to me, "Oh, you are very good, but you lack on just a bit of tech. You don't have any tech, or your style is not for battles. It's just to vibe with your beats." But then I started to submit my stuff to international stuff. And then I've got recognized, like I was able to win battles, to qualify to battles internationally, but not nationally. So I was like, well, there's something wrong here. Maybe I'm not the problem. And then that's what. And then I started thinking.
Switchbeefbox.com. Is there some beef that needs to be squashed?
And then I started to think like maybe people are judging here in Brazil like people judged it 10 years ago, and that's not a problem. People is just not updated. So and then internationally people are more open to new stuff, and that was what I was trying to bring, new stuff.
Yeah.
But I always had that small feeling that I could add some tech on my stuff, because I was thinking like, oh, okay, I can get to qualify to international stuff, but I don't win battles there too. But then I have this feeling inside me that no, you should keep on your style and do this, and you get recognized. Because what I think is, if I try to add technical stuff on my beat, I would just be another beatboxer on the crowd.
Yeah, like your heart.
If I do my stuff, I can I can be highlighted, you know, because what I do, there are very few people that do as I do. So the only way I could be noticed on the scene is betting on my style. So that's what I did. And now this year and the last half of last year uh, are here to prove that what I chose was the correct way, because I'm having very good results, even though I'm using only musical stuff. So the GBB was for me like a very good mark, because I only did very musical rounds and I got very, very, very far on the competition. So uh, that proves that musicality is a battle,
Yep,
uh,
I know what you mean.
you know. So you can battle using musicality. So
You can do anything.
it's just because things are changing now. We are experiencing this transition from a standard beatbox of technicality to a very more wide things that could have musicality, could have basses, could have special sounds, technicality, and everything. Just the important aspect is to be original. So that's the transition, the change we're seeing right now. But it takes time to change and to get in all people's minds. So we're still gonna experience some battles where musicality will original musicality will lose against a very mainstream technicality. You know.
So it's kind of scary how much you and I have in common. Imagine what I go through with so many of my routines.
Yeah, bro. I know that feeling.
Like, what the hell is that? Basically. But yeah. So shout out to you for being brave. I think it says a few things that there seems to be a lot of like being like the follower mentality where like I don't wanna break the mold and like be seen as different or weird or whatever, but it's ironic because like our community at its core is being the strange independent musical weirdos. Like most people that's like what the fuck? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Whereas you know, it's like when I see a video of you I think it was your most recent Insta video where you took this Brazilian couple of what they were doing and then you overdubbed it kind of back and forth with the frames. So it's like when I don't know, it's because like people and I tell this too, like, okay, so Dudz can do a kick drum. I know you've heard a kick drum in a radio song. He can do a hi-hat, something with a high frequency. I know you've heard of that. He can do it multiple snares. Please tell me everything has a snare. And then he sings. And he's in tune. So therefore, like all these basic elements, you put them together, it shouldn't be seen as strange. I don't get it. But yeah. I think, oh, another thing I was going to say is like shout out to the GBB judges for doing a really difficult task of like balancing your stuff next to someone like River, completely different styles, and having to, I mean, I don't even know how to judge that.
Yeah, that one was really hard. I felt it was really hard for the judges. But I think that now very experienced judges understand that the most important aspect when you're judging is originality. So I think that all the judges already heard a lot of River stuff and didn't heard about me. So it was really new and fresh for them. And maybe that surprise element was what made me win, because River is a beast. So maybe he lost that battle because of his second round. He tried to do only tech stuff, but it was a really, really close one.
But then you have someone like Helium. I haven't, and I know he started doing a lot of tutorial stuff, but I remember the Beatbox International 8-minute thing, and he was absolutely crazy. So it's like you have people that like when it comes to like people that are mostly tech. I don't know. It's like you can't really like it's not. I mean, see, maybe you disagree, but to me, it's not fair to hold. I'm not saying judges do this, but like, to me, it's not fair to hold it against someone if they just can't sing, or if they do, but they're not comfortable. Like it's like telling me to rap really fast. Like I can rap on my loops, but it's not like my thing. So it just I don't know, originality. I feel like when you sing, like how many songs are out there? How many notes? Um, like I mean, you can harmonize and do like the Alexinho thingy, but I mean, if you can do that plus all the tech, aren't your possibilities way bigger than anyone? Like not just River, but anybody for that matter.
Well, I think that when you're judging, you need to set up really well what are the parameters you are analyzing. So if you don't do this, you're gonna be unfair in some battles. So that's what differentiate amateur from a professional judge, because an amateur is like, oh, I like this, I'm gonna vote on this, and that's not how battles work. So sometimes you like more one beatboxer, but you should vote for the other because he has uh, more points on the aspects. So uh, for me, you can find musicality in technical stuff, like what Helium does, like the transitions he does when in his technicality stuff. It could sound musical, like there are there are songs that are very drums, it's just drum thing. So you can find musicality on that if you have a very clean sounds, if you have very coherent sounds on your beat, it could be musical. If it, even though it doesn't have singing on that.
Yeah,
So
that's
I don't
something.
think that singing is needed, but of course it makes a more comfortable song. Like for one thing that a lot of people that don't know nothing about beatboxing that listen to my song says to me is that what I like about your thing is that I could listen to that all day long.
Yep.
When they watch a beatbox battle that I'm participating, they say all the others sound the same. Like I'm tired of listening to that. But you kind of bring a difference. And it's like, oh, now I'm comfortable again. It's different to my ear, so I'm happy again. And then it comes back to the same thing. So and that is a bit of originality aspect. So if you have someone that doesn't sing but is very original, it will be very refreshing for your ears too. So
Oh, and one other
that's why I say so much about originality.
yeah, one other thing I was gonna say was so the most recent in real life GBB, it was very musical. Thomas Sacre sang, D'Lo sang, Zeka. Like the list
Yeah.
goes on and on. So I feel like, and that's why it just kind of frustrates me and confuses me is people throw shade at you for your stuff, but then when it comes to an in real life big Club Stadola scene, like I don't get it. Whatever.
What I feel is happening is that if you look at the very old school beatboxers that have been in the scene for like 15 years or 10 years, if you look at their beats 10 years ago, it was very technical, only technicality, no musicality at all. But then, as they get experience on beatboxing, they see that the natural way is to transform your beat in a song, in a music. Then you need musicality on that, and that's what happened with experience. So these judges are figuring out that they need to sound more like a music, like a song, uh, and that's why they are going to this way, I think.
Okay, great. Okay, now we're going to talk about national and international communities. Like you mentioned UK a bit, you mentioned Brazilian. Now, what about, I don't know how much more you can add to it, but I was going to ask basically between online and in real life. I mean, we're still going through a COVID pandemic, so for the viewers, whenever you watch this, we're going through an online thing. Or I'm sorry, an international global pandemic. But anyway, so I'm sure you've done things for like Beatbox Jungle, Beatbox America, maybe the UK.
Hmm.
So if you want to talk about kind of like the communities and like how like tight you are with one or multiple of them.
Okay, so here in Brazil, the largest community is Beat Fellas. Uh, they have a very nice job here, where they have each month they have a battle. So not now because of the pandemic, but before that. And each month they have at least one battle, and they have like workshops every week for non-beatboxers in a place here that is like a culture center. So people that are there are more inclined to music, to dancing, to art forms. So that's a very nice job they do here. But the scene here, like organized scene here, is very recent. So we just had our second national championship last year. So before that, it was only very amateur battles, and there were a lot of communities trying to organize simultaneously, and it was kind of a mess. But now it is a bit more organized, and we got Peponi to judge the last national champs here. So I think the scene is getting larger here. But the one problem here in Brazil is that the country is too large. So it's hard for people to come from the north or northeast to compete here in São Paulo. Some of the people don't have the money to come here or don't have the time, because if they come here by plane, it's too expensive. If they come here by bus, it's like 3 days of travel just to come, and then another 3 days to come back. So it's kind of unfeasible. So that's where I think the online community should get in here. Like, it is very important for people to have this online community, and that's what Beatbox Jungle is trying to start here. Like, they had some smaller battles, but they're trying to do something bigger now. I indeed participated in. I'm participating right now in Beatbox America thing. They are doing a very nice competition between countries.
Yep, they've been
So
doing that, I think.
it's very nice, and we are in the finals against Argentina. It will be tomorrow. Yeah, so a very nice competition. It's like the same structure as the countries battle in Beatbox International.
I was
So
just gonna say it
uh,
seems very
yeah,
similar. Yeah.
it's kind of the same structure, but they organized in a Nations Cup. So
Yeah,
a
yeah,
very nice idea.
yeah. Shout out to Beatbox America. I actually did one of their loop tournaments. That was actually the first time. So a specific reason I shut them out is because that was the first time I ever, not when I say won, I should say first time I advanced in a battle. So that was the first time I did like a very traditional A B, and I
Hmm.
passed along. So shout out to them
Nice, nice.
for that platform. Um, what else was I gonna say? Oh, if I think of it, I'll get back to you. Okay. But in the meantime, what? So basically, we talked about your past, your present. Now, what about your future? Someone. So, like for example, um, I'm guessing just keep doing more GBB wildcards. I'm guessing I'm guessing like you'll be doing a worlds online unless you already uploaded it. Um, so just basically doing the same things as what you're doing. Like, is that basically your beatbox future?
Yeah. Normally, I don't set main goals to my beatboxing. I just normally keep improving, keep on beatboxing, and it naturally happen. So for now, actually for me, beatboxing is like let's say a hobby, because it's not the main thing in my life, because I need to work from Monday to Friday. So it's not the main thing. So I do that on my free time. But of course, I still love it, and I still gonna keep on practicing. So and one way to see your improvement on your practicing on your beatboxing is qualifying to champs. So that's why I kind of post wildcards for every main competition. I try. If I don't get in, it's okay. Like
Me too.
you get good feedback, very good feedback. Like I post GBB wildcard since 2017, and since the first one, the feedback was really good. Even though I don't get in, I'm not interested in getting. So I'm interested in the feedback, and if I get in, it's a consequence of my practicing, you know. So for now, I've been judging a lot. Like last month, I was judging like 2 battles every weekend, so 2 or 3 battles. So I did a lot of judging. I'm gonna do one more for Beatbox Jungle, and but I'm trying to get in the world champs, world online champs by the battles. So probably I'm gonna try the next battle they're gonna have in the afternoon. Let's see what happens. But those are my goals. Actually, I think one main goal that I really set to myself is to one day be a national champ, because I got the vice champ in 2018. But it would be really great to have a national champ. But
I gotta say,
besides that, just keep on improving and keep on sending wildcards and see what happens.
I love your attitude towards, like, I mean, like, I feel like so many people, their attitude is, oh, if I don't get in, I'm horrible, and like battling is the only thing in my life. Whereas, like, you're like, well, what about the feedback? What about the process and the journey of it? And so I just really love your attitude towards all this. I remember the question I was gonna ask was, especially with the pandemic, and especially with some people predicting that the December 3rd GBB will not happen. Based on all that, and based on like the perfect example you were giving of in Brazil, it's really big. It can take 3 days and a lot of money, all that traveling. So based on all that, do you think that moving almost everything online is worth it, even with the feedback, even with like the lagging?
I think it's worth it because of this aspect of gathering people from all around the world. Like, if you didn't have an online scene, it wouldn't be possible. Like, there are people that just don't send any wildcards for GBB because they won't have the money if they get in to go there. So they're not even sending a wildcard. But if it's online thing, why not? So I think it's a matter of getting used to it. Like we are used to so good quality stuff that now it's kind of online is not the same. But if you think on the opportunity aspect, I think it is very important, and I think it should continue even after the pandemic. Like, you have two scenes, the real one and the online one, because you're gonna find a lot of hidden talents.
Yeah, that was my that's the exact reason I was thinking. Because I mean, like, even though it still is an investment to get like, I mean, depending if you want to get in an audio and video production like me, like I wouldn't be able to record all this if I didn't figure things out by myself. But and also if I didn't have money to buy stuff. But I think not just having a good microphone, knowing how to mix your audio, and it's interesting because with beatbox and loop, I feel like those are the two main exceptions to, like, I firmly believe that everything you put into the mic and into the machine should be mixed. Like, that just goes with your planning and your practice. So that and it doesn't matter if it's Audacity or not. I feel like at the end, when you master it, there really shouldn't be that much else to do. But
Yeah, sure.
but the point is that that part of it does cost money, and to get a computer and to keep your Wi-Fi or your internet. So you say that there should continue being an online and an in real life. So like, let's say, take me. Let's say I don't have much money, or I have a family issue with traveling. So do you think that? So I mean, that's why I think I agree with what you said. Is this online trend should keep going?
Yeah, but there is another really important aspect, that is the local community. Like, if you don't have money to travel, but you can find people near you that beatbox. there's always someone that beatbox near you. Always, always. I receive a lot of messages like, oh, but I live in, I don't know, and there is no one here. And I say, no, there is a beatbox. I know him. And then I put them in contact, and then they become best friends. So it's a matter of finding local community, and if you have the ambition of battling internationally, then you could figure out how to get gadgets to participate.
Okay. Last quick question before the drop a beat shout out parts. Do you have any recent, past, present, future projects? So like producing, dropping an album, something like that.
Yeah, so for future, but it's a kind of an uncertain future. I really, really don't know when I'm gonna do this. It could be in 1 month or in 10 years. But I would really love to drop an album like in Spotify. People ask me that every time, but I only want to do it when I have like a studio to record, someone professional to mix my audio, because what I do is very, very amateur, and I want to do it in the right way. So that is a very future project. For now, I'm gonna keep on uploading videos to my YouTube. I always upload my routines, wildcards, some different videos like me 5 times in the screen doing a song, or memes like you saw in Instagram. So whatever I feel happy on recording, I'm gonna do. So those are my future projects, I think.
All right. Okay. Last 2 segments for everybody. Drop a beat if you want, and any last shout outs. Some people like to do the shout outs first before they drop the beat.
Okay, so shout out to the whole Brazilian community. Everyone in Brazil that follows me. There are a lot of good people there. There are hidden talents. Like in the Beatbox America competition, no one was expecting us to get in the finals, but we have a lot of hidden talents. So shout out to all of them. Shout out to all of my followers, everyone that are always there, commenting on my stuff, giving me feedback, and sharing my videos. So I'm really thankful for that. So okay, let's drop a beat then.
When you say that you are wrong, that you are wrong, that you are wrong, and I'll be incredibly strong, incredibly strong, incredibly strong.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you.
DUDZ in chat. D for Dudz in chat. Dudz in chat. All right. Okay, so one last time. I am Milz from America, and today we just got done interviewing.
Dudz, really, really thanks to you to inviting me. It was a pleasure to be here. Really nice questions you did.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, and I always make sure that my questions are to the point and that they're... Because, like, some people like to ask, like, who's your favorite beatboxer? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just get sick and tired of that. No offense. I swear if I hear Codfish, D-Lo, Napalm one more time. Who's your favorite looper? Sorrow. No.
Wow.
Who would have guessed that was the answer? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Because like in my interviews, I try to make things about you. Like,
Yeah.
what is your thought process about things? What are you working on? What was your past? What is your future? You know, like, yeah.
A really, really nice one.